In a cold interrogation chamber, a mother sits across from detectives, explaining. She explains how she helped criminals dismember her 10-year-old daughter. In the girl's own bedroom, she tells them where they put the pieces. The detective's pen stopped moving. But this story doesn't start here.
August 2016, Albuquerque, New Mexico. In apartment 808, Michelle Martins lived with her 2 children, 10-year-old Victoria and her younger son, Matthew. To the outside world, life was normal. A single mom, kids who rode the bus to and from school. But inside apartment 808, the normal was collapsing. Michelle had started dating Fabian Gonzalez, a repeat offender with a history of child abuse. Within weeks of meeting him, she let him move in with her daughter. 1 month later, Fabian brought his cousin, Jessica Kelly, just out of prison with her own history of substance abuse and violence. She arrived on August 15th, 8 days before everything ended. Most parents would never allow 2 strangers with criminal records to live with their child. But Michelle's reasons weren't what they seemed. On the morning of August 24th, a neighbor saw smoke coming from Michelle's window and called police. Officers forced their way into the apartment. In the bathroom, a blanket in the tub was still smoldering. An officer pulled it open.
Inside were the remains of a child. In the living room, they found a trash bag filled with organs. Detectives began piecing together what happened. But the question wasn't just what occurred, it was who allowed it. 3 adults lived in that apartment: Michelle, Fabian, and Jessica, and all 3 told completely different stories. Michelle claimed she found Victoria unresponsive. Jessica described a mysterious man who came looking for Fabian and went to Victoria's room instead. Nothing matched, but detectives noticed something else. Through all her questioning, Michelle never once asked about her son. She never asked where Matthew was or if he was safe. A female detective changed tactics. She spoke softly, held Michelle's hand, and made her feel understood. It worked. Michelle started talking. She admitted she knew what was happening to Victoria, admitted she was in the room during the abuse. She admitted hearing her own daughter say the word, "Stop." But that wasn't the full story. The detective asked if there had been other incidents. Michelle claimed it was only Fabian.
The detective didn't believe her. She asked directly, "How many other men in the last year?" 3. 3 other men, all brought to her home, all given access to her children, all while Michelle watched. She explained her process for finding them. It was simple, direct. Men would ask if she had kids. She'd say yes. And when they met, they would want to meet the kids. She made it sound routine. The detective pressed further. How did this start? Was this a cycle? Had something like this happened to Michelle as a child? Michelle shook her head. No, not to her knowledge. There was no past trauma to explain this, no cycle of abuse repeating itself. She had no explanation. She just did it. And it was only then, under the weight of the detective's questions, that a slow, horrifying realization seemed to dawn on her face. The realization that she was a mother. Victoria Martins had just turned 10. Her birthday was August 23rd. She was a girl who loved gymnastics, math problems with gold stars, and the simple joy of coloring. She was, by all accounts, a bright light. The day after her birthday, August 24th, 2016, started like any other. The school bus dropped her off at her apartment complex at 4:30 in the afternoon. It was the last normal moment of her life. When her mother, Michelle, and Michelle's boyfriend, Fabian, returned home, they found Victoria in the living room. She said she felt tired and went to her bedroom. A little while later, Michelle claimed she checked on her daughter. The first time, she was breathing. The second time, Fabian told her Victoria had stopped. But Michelle didn't call 911. She didn't try to help. She didn't even go into the room to check for herself. When a detective later asked her why, Michelle admitted the truth. There were drugs in the apartment and she was worried about getting in trouble. Her 10-year-old daughter wasn't breathing and her mother's first thought was about drug charges. The detective then asked another question. How often did Fabian abuse Victoria? Michelle paused.
then answered with 2 words. Every day. Every single day for the month he had lived in their apartment. Did she know? Yes. Did she watch? Sometimes. Other times, she simply went to work, leaving her daughter alone with him, fully knowing what was going to happen. After Victoria died, Fabian's cousin Jessica got a knife from the kitchen. "We're going to dispose of the body," she said. They tried to burn the evidence in the bathtub. When that didn't work, they just left. A neighbor saw the smoke and made the call that brought police to apartment 808. Later, during the interrogation, after calmly describing all of this, the detective who had bought Michelle a burger for lunch asked how it was. "Good," she said. The detective's tone changed. "Stand up. You're under arrest for homicide of a child." Michelle looked genuinely surprised, shocked.
That single reaction told investigators everything they needed to know. In June of 2018, Michelle Martins took a plea deal for reckless child abuse resulting in death. Her sentence, 12 years. The public response was immediate outrage. 12 years for facilitating months of torture and for helping to dispose of her own daughter's body? Her boyfriend, Fabian Gonzalez, received 37 and a half years. Jessica Kelly got 44. During the investigation, Jessica described a mysterious fourth man, claiming he was the one who killed Victoria. Police found his DNA, but after searching and testing, they found no other trace, no evidence he ever existed. It was likely just a convenient story to shift the blame. The final, horrifying truth is that Victoria wasn't invisible. She went to school every day. She rode the bus. She had teachers and friends. For months, while her mother invited men into their home, the systems designed to protect children failed, over and over. Teachers didn't notice a change. Neighbors didn't report anything. A clerical error meant Fabian Gonzalez, who was supposed to be on supervised probation, was never monitored at all. Michelle Martins is scheduled to be released from prison this October. With good behavior, she'll be in her mid-40s, with decades of life ahead of her. Victoria Martins was 10. She will never be 11. Her childhood ended in that apartment, at the hands of the people who were supposed to protect her. And at the end of it all, her mother stood in the hallway that morning, calm, phone in hand, waiting for someone else to find what she already knew was there.